I'll need us for right now.
Austin, will you tell the boys to get their butts in here, please?
You got it.
So
That'll be awesome.
coincide what she says and then talk about, like, reiterate some of her stuff.
That's great.
Yeah.
Serious picture.
All right, everybody, this is the very last day of Mad About Leads. Lead generation, 36, 12-3. We did 4 weeks of this. You want one?
Yeah.
I told your kids they could come, all of them. They showed up at 1 and never came back again. Do you want to learn your goals? So, today's the last day. And those of you that have been coming consistently, who's been doing their lead generation each week? Cody, awesome. Did we get, how many hours did you do this week and last week? A lot, because I know I'm maintaining yours.
A little bit every day.
Cool. Have we gotten an appointment with anybody?
No.
No appointments?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Mindset, right?
I believe.
All about mindset. I gotta move this. You believe in what?
I can do it.
I know you
It's just
can.
like, you just gotta call the right person.
I absolutely know you can. So, I know that you've been calling lots and lots of people. I'm giving you the shift book. Because that's what we're heading into.
The shift, the market shift.
And there's great scripts in there for you. I need that. So y'all are gonna work towards getting stuff like that, right? Or you can just go beg from Corinne and she'll give you books. All right, so most of our people that have been in here that have had appointments didn't show up today, so guess what they don't get?
The shift book.
No, whoever had the most appointments for this whole series was gonna get KW jacket of their choice. And guess what they don't get, because they're not here today. Is that a
Who
shame?
got the most appointments in here?
I think it was Chris.
Based off
It
of
could have
this
been
year.
Kendall, right? Because
Yeah,
Kendall
probably.
actually had a listing
I
and,
saw that.
right?
So
Yeah, they're not here today. They could have got some
who
swag.
gets the jacket? No, I'm just kidding.
Who gets the jacket?
Exactly.
Actually, you know what I think we'll do? Austin, are you still here? I did unmute myself, yeah. He left me. Wait, does everybody have a business card?
I don't have a business card
No
yet.
business cards yet? They're not here?
Austin's-
Austin's slacking?
Oh, he's slacking, yeah.
Fire!
Austin's gonna buy everyone jackets.
Yeah, exactly.
Austin is so cheap, Austin won't buy anything. And that was recorded. Okay, so
The jacket.
let's,
Sorry,
we'll get your name on it. I know, I was gonna get a notepad. Write your name on a piece of paper. Somebody go grab a notepad or something. We'll write down your names, we'll draw names, and whoever gets drawn wins a jacket. It's a $65 jacket. It's a nice jacket. It is walking advertisement.
Conversation starter.
Actually, I'm gonna let Jenny start talking. I'm gonna introduce Jenny, and I'm gonna go see something real quick. So I need to leave the room. But Miss Jenny, you guys, I've talked about her many times, right? So Jenny, I just want you to come up and share your story.
Oh my gosh, okay.
However you want to share it, focusing on how we live our goals, and I will be right back.
Hey
Hello.
Okay. Your name again?
guys.
Dia,
Jason.
Chris, Cody, we've met and then, okay.
And then me.
So, I'm Jenny Hill. Where do I start? At the beginning. So I got my real estate license 4 years ago, February 1st. But prior to that, I had worked, my degree is in graphic design. So I had done brand design and marketing. I had started doing work with the realtor who helped us buy our first house in Wilsonville like 10 years ago. And I loved doing design work and marketing in real estate because there was such an opportunity for improvement with a lot of bad marketing. Anyway, at a certain point, I had been doing freelance work after I had my kids, and then I was offered a full-time job as the creative director at WFG National Title, and I thought it was gonna be awesome because it's still in the real estate industry, but leadership and creative, whatever. It was terrible, not because of WFG, but the leader in the department I was in was really not a good leader. So my husband and I sat down in December of 2017, and he was like, I think you should get your real estate license and sell luxury homes. You know, there's a huge marketing opportunity there. And I was like, yeah, you know, because design is a tough industry right now because so much of it's outsourced overseas. You know, I had clients paying me $10,000, $30,000 for a branding package, but then I had people wanting to pay $500. Or, you know, why couldn't we go on 99designs.com? So I kind of saw the writing on the wall there. And so I quit my job in December of 2017 and I bought the real estate course and gave myself the month of January 2018 to get licensed because I had signed up for family reunion as an agent, which is, it used to be the first week or second week of February.
Yeah.
You're right. I started at the beginning. I'm
No,
fast-forwarding them.
I know
Anyway.
I want, because I want them to know like
Okay.
how fast you escalated too,
Okay,
right?
okay. So I treated it like a job. It was the most miserable month of my life, doing the online ed thing. And we all know how much we use that content right after we get licensed. So, but I got licensed February 1st and went to family reunion. I joined a team that I had worked really closely with for years because it felt like a natural step. And I had talked to the team owner about launching a luxury sales division in his business. Fast forward 6 months later, I realized it was not a good fit for me. I was not, plus my disc profile, it was like not meant to be on a team. So.
Were you trying to start your luxury on that team still?
What's that?
Were you trying to start your luxury brand while you were on that?
Yeah, so we had like created a separate brand.
Mm.
I had created a business plan and it was beautiful. So painful to walk away from. But yeah, and it just didn't come to fruition. I was developing opportunities and I just realized that it wasn't a good place for me to be, you know, for my future. Anyway, so then in June of 2018,
the best thing that I did though, as part of that team was I called through my entire database. Because that was just one part of the onboarding on the team, was to call, email, and text every single person I knew and talk to them, tell them I'm a real estate agent and talk about real estate and ask about their plans. And so in June, after I left that team and went solo, I got my first listing from somebody that was a former neighbor of mine in Villebois. So we live in Villebois, we've lived there for 12 years. And that is my farm, in case anyone's curious. Stay out. In case you have aspirations. May the odds be ever in your favor. So I got that listing and realized really quickly, I learned and now I look back, like I learned very quickly that my lead generation for me was being in proximity with people and having conversations and asking about real estate plans. That was how I built my business. So I closed 11 transactions in that following 6 months. And I think, I'm trying to remember what my GCI, it was like just under 100,000. It was like 95,000.
I'll pull it. Well, it'll take a few minutes, but you go ahead and I'll.
Not that matters. Like, I think the numbers can be like, oh,
No,
comparison is the thief of joy, and you also don't know the story behind it, right? Like everybody, I was just talking with Tanya this morning, like there's another real estate team in Wilsonville that they copy literally everything that my team and I do, and it's frustrating, but they discount their commission on every listing. And I know that, I know that they're not profitable because of what they're doing. They're cutting corners. And so on paper, it looks like they're just killing it. But, so don't compare yourself and don't compare your story to somebody else's story, because it's not relevant. It's not relatable. You can learn things from other people, but don't use it as a way to judge what you're doing at all. Anyway, I did relatively well my first year, and second year, awesome, grew, almost doubled my business. And then last year, I hired my first admin, and that was terrifying, right? So, but I realized, and when you talk about living to your goals, right? Yeah, living your goals, sorry. I got to a point where I realized I set a really aggressive goal for 2021, and I couldn't do it on my own. So that's a big part of when you're setting your goals each year and revisiting it. And I think that a 12-month goal is actually really hard to set. I think a 3-year goal is better. But then I work now in 12-week sprints. So my team and I set a goal for the first quarter of the year, and that is all we care about. We don't care about the big, obviously I care about the 12-month goal, but we don't talk about that. We just talked about the 12-week goal. And we were only $500,000 short in production.
that's awesome. Do you still set your annual goal, your 3-year goal, your annual goal, and then take it down?
So, sorry, I'm jumping around.
No, I was just curious.
I was really fortunate to hire somebody that I knew well as my admin. She had worked for my husband for 7 years. He's still recovering from that loss, but no, he supported her. She's so Sophia. So I can't Megan's how do you recruit? I'm I don't know. You just be nice to people, be awesome, and ask them how you can help them succeed. So Sophia started in February of last year, and there's a model for all of this. I love that this class is just like the MREA.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a model for this, because I was how can I afford to hire an admin? And my Max coach at the time was
how can you afford not to?
There's a model for how much you pay them.
That's right.
All of it in the Red Book. So when I did the math, I realized that I could afford to pay her what she needed to make the move. It was actually less than my husband was paying her, but the opportunity was what she was looking for.
Yeah.
For growth, and it was different in this business. Anyway, so Sophia started, neither one of us had any idea what we're doing, but we don't have to because there's a book. And I had a maps coach.
And there's classes and
And there's
training,
classes.
career
and training.
visioning.
Yes, yeah. Well, there wasn't career visioning because of COVID.
Yeah, they had online.
Yeah, but it was not the same.
No, it's
Anyway,
not.
um,
Nothing's the same
career
online as it
visioning
is in person.
And it's taking place in April in Seattle. You guys are too early for career visioning, but I want to do that. Took career visioning from Gary Keller at Family Reunion though. That was pretty cool. So
That's pretty awesome.
yeah, it was. It was
Holy
amazing.
moly.
Yeah. So I met, and setting my goals, like as we progressed, it just like, I realized that like I couldn't do all the things I really wanted to do all on my own and still have time with my kids and my husband and sleep, so that's where like leverage comes into play. And being a solo agent is amazing. And I had such a great experience because of this market center and because of the people in Keller Williams. And when you grow, inevitably, like the next step is to bring other people into your business. And so Austin was the first agent that I brought onto my team, and I met him through teaching here at the market center. And he reached out to me in like March last year and just sent me an email because when I would teach Ignite, I would talk about my business, and like I teach the marketing session of Ignite. And so I talk a lot about like branding your business and like how you identify, what's your unique value. But part of that is don't limit yourself. Like it's really important to think so much bigger than where you are right now. So like when you name your business, I mean, I worked with so many agents when I was branding, doing marketing, where we had to rebrand their entire business once they brought other agents into it because they just called themselves, so-and-so real estate. So, and I said in that class, like, I don't know if I want to have a team, but I branded my business so that I have that option down the road. And Austin reached out to me, he was like, I know you said you didn't know if you wanted to have a team, but let me know if you ever want to talk about it. And it just kind of like struck me. It was a slap in the face. I was like, holy crap, like somebody might actually want to do this with me, and then he just kept showing up. Like he would hold my open houses, and I had listed a development for a builder out in Happy Valley, and Austin was the only one that consistently showed up and wanted to help. And so I was like, how do I not, I didn't feel ready. Same thing with hiring admin. I didn't feel ready, but then it was like, how do you not, when talent shows up in your life, like you create an opportunity for them.
Gary Keller says hire talent.
Right?
Yeah.
And overspend. Pay, when you have talent, you pay them.
You pay
more
for
than-
'em.
Than you
Yeah.
feel comfortable living. So Austin joined J-Hill Property Group in May of last year. He had not closed a transaction. He'd been an agent he moved from Montana, so he had no database here.
Yep.
And then he had been like with KWPB for like 9 months.
Yeah, he came in all the time while he was still
Oh my
studying
gosh,
for his
so
test. He
dedicated.
sat in that desk right outside my office before we turned it into. Everything.
Training. Yeah.
And you remember when you called me and asked me about him?
Yeah. You're like, he's a good one.
Take him.
Yeah.
I have,
And-
and you can't do that. I actually talked to leadership because
Right.
we have to give permission for an agent to join a team.
Yeah.
Okay, so it
And I
was
think
already
special
approved.
because he was on the verge of coming in.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yep.
he got our buyer, like some of my buyers under contract within like 2 weeks. It was awesome. And he closed 9 deals last year after joining my team. And then Ashley came on in September, and Nick came on in January, and I brought on a marketing specialist last September, and we have office space. Like I leased an office space in September of last year.
Okay, wait. You started with you.
Yeah,
When did you hire Sophie?
a year ago. Well, February 2021.
So in 1 year,
Mhm.
you went from one person to 5 people on a team.
Yeah.
Not even wanting a team.
Right, like No, it
I mean,
wasn't
not
like
that you
want,
weren't
but I
ready
didn't have
for
a
it.
Plan. So
Yeah.
this is where like I probably shouldn't be speaking at the living your goals because I hadn't set that goal. But my goal, like my production goal and my lifestyle goal couldn't be met, but with just me. And then once I realized that, and once, so, and this is something that I struggle with. So you guys, like, I challenge you to think about this, like, how do you think big? Because it can be really, it's not just human nature to envision something tangible that's so much bigger than what you have. I think it's hard for me anyway. It's hard for me to like think of what's like in 3 years, like, you know, well, I have my first expansion team, you know, and Austin wants an office in Montana. So what do we do? And I want an office in Palo San Lupe. So how do we do this? You know, but you have to be able to cast a big vision and work backward from that, because that will dictate your activities. And now I've gotten so much more clear, and I'm different maybe because I get super inspired by creating opportunities for the people on my team. I had so much clarity around that after family reunion. It was like, I have such a hard time thinking like, oh, this house or this much income or whatever. But when I see them succeeding, it's so inspiring to me. So I know that if I help everybody that I bring into my business, if I help them achieve their goals, that everything I could ever want or need is going to be taken care of. So, but I had a really great conversation with Justin Stoddard yesterday about the way he coaches his people, like his coaching clients around this, is to like think about like, what do you want on your obituary? It sounds morbid, but like, what do you want people to say at your, like on your eulogy? What do you want to have achieved? Like, who will you have impacted? What will you leave as a legacy? And that was really powerful for me to hear him say that. I was like, I've never thought that far ahead. And even when you think like 10 years in advance, like if you have kids, like how old are they going to be? What about your parents? How old are your parents going to be? Like, what kind of lifestyle do you want to have and be able to fund? Because the purpose of business is to fund the perfect life. So, and then work back from that in chunks of like 10 years and 3 years and whatever. So, I think when it comes to living your goals, you have to cast a bigger vision, because I feel like, what could I have achieved, right? I feel like I did this by accident. What if I had actually had like a really big, clear vision and a goal that I was working toward? So that's what I'm working on right now. Because it's not just me anymore. I have, 5 other people that I'm like, they've hired me to move them from A to B. So yeah.
That's awesome. Do you guys have any questions?
Inspiring.
Right?
I hate to go back to the beginning, but you're talking about how lead generation is like proximity to people.
Yeah.
And Tanya tells us all the time about how you like set up just like shopping things and things like that. But how are you getting in proximity to people to have these conversations before you started rolling?
Yeah. So I'll just tell you about, I don't know what your life looks like, but for me, so when I moved to Bilbao, when my husband and I moved to Bilbao 12 years ago, the way I made friends was at Ladies Night. There was a Mary Kay lady who she facilitated Ladies Night, and it was at a different person's house once a month, every third Thursday. And that's how I made friends. So that made an impact on me. So that had kind of fizzled out just because Wendy Clausen, who sold Mary Kay, she was just getting older and she didn't want to do it anymore. And then COVID, well, that was pre-COVID. The neighborhood had grown so much that it was too big to have at one person's house. And it had kind of just like sputtered out because nobody was taking the reins. So after I got my license, I love to entertain. I like micro events, like happy hour with friends and hosting dinner parties and stuff like that. So a friend of mine, so my hairstylist, and I decided, she also lived in Bilbao. We decided we were going to start Ladies Night again. And we had no budget because I didn't have a huge budget. So we would just like say, hey, everybody's going to meet at Oswego Grill for happy hour. And we stuck with the schedule so that it was predictable. And then that grew, and then it was like bocce ball at the park, or somebody might host it, or we did it, we did get in trouble. We hosted it at one of the community centers and the HOA didn't like it. So we had to apologize, but it was fantastic. It was amazing. Had like 45 women. That's crazy. We did have to go before the HOA board and like issue a formal apology, but
You
you know.
did.
Yeah.
Why, because there was alcohol or?
Yeah.
Oh,
And vendors, and you're not supposed to have like
Oh.
retail
oh,
in the,
Wow.
like, the HOA managed.
So
to be signed.
majority of those times, it was the same people you kind of like were meeting up with, those friends that you basically made, so.
Not always.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, I mean, there
People?
are, even today, there are a consistent group of hardcore ladies night attendees.
That
They
you
all-
started?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
Like,
amazing,
that's
yeah.
why I tell you guys, find something that makes you passionate and then find a way to like
Right.
engage and then take
Yeah,
over.
so find a community, find a niche, you know,
But make it
and but
something you
it
love.
always brings somebody, right? And so we have like new people every month. And it doesn't matter how many people come, because you can have deeper conversations when there are fewer people, right? And you connect with them at a deeper level. Now that it's more than just me, we are doing 36 events a year in Villebois. So we do men's night, we do ladies night, we're doing every major holiday. We have a huge Easter egg hunt coming up. We already have 300 people registered.
Oh my gosh.
But I got a simple booth. Do you remember the simple? Yeah. So like all the photos of the Easter bunny, people have to put in their contact information.
Yeah.
Our database has grown by like 250 people already this year because of the events. And COVID was a mix, you know, it was a blessing because people had to register for the events.
Yeah, that was nice,
And
wasn't
we had
it?
to kind of control numbers. So we've trained everyone, like, so every event, we have a Google form, you have to sign up. And then we do a small raffle, like your lender can pitch in for some kind of raffle item and people have to fill out a Google form. So you get contact if they didn't already register for the event. So being more purpose. So for me, when I was starting, it was just about being in proximity with people. And my goal was to have 15 conversations a week about like with people about their plans. Because when you meet new people, and this is one thing Garen, like the only blessing of Garen, right? Is that he taught me to be in proximity with people. When you meet someone new, you're like, hey, you know, my name's this, you know, what do you do? Oh, I'm a teacher, or whatever, doesn't matter. And how about you?
They always
You know,
ask.
I'm a real estate agent. Oh my gosh, how's the market? Everybody
Yeah.
wants to know. It's so great.
Do you hear? Right?
Yeah.
It's true, you guys. It really
The
is.
market is always great. You know, and you drop, you know, like, what about you guys? Do you guys have any real estate plans in the next 12 months? It's so disarming. It's not like, who do you know that wants to buy, sell, or?
I know, I hate that. I actually really hate that one.
You know, and they're like, no one, right? But if you say like, you know, do you have any real estate plans this year? And you say, you know, like, my wife and I are thinking about it, but we don't know how much we can afford. Well, I'd love to connect you with my lender. It's not, you know, like super low key, you're not obligated to do anything, but information is power, right?
Yep.
So that was like, I'm so grateful for that coaching with Garen, who was really strange in other ways, but he had a great script. So yeah, just getting in front of people. So whether that's at the PTA, whether that's starting a meetup group, Austin started a paddleboarding meetup group last year, joining the Rotary, joining the Chamber, don't ever join a BNI group. Just going like play dates at the park or dog walking or whatever you're interested in, you know, just make it, especially right now, you guys, people are so starved for connection coming out of COVID. Like it is an opportunity like never before to create communities and facilitate connection with people. And have conversations. And everybody loves talking about real estate. I mean, they may be really depressed and burnt out, but you know, even then you can be the savior, right? Like we had some clients who had been looking for a house for like 13 months with another realtor and then they gave up, they quit. And then we were able to help them, you know, and then helping people who don't think they can buy. We had, I was connected, we had a referral from, oh my gosh, Kelly, who used to be the admin from Merck Fox. Anyway, she sent a friend of hers to us who they thought they could only afford to buy a mobile home. And we connected them with Academy and they bought a $400,000 house. I mean, they just like, people don't know.
They don't know. They have no idea.
Yeah, so talking to people. And I really believe like face-to-face is the absolute most valuable way to connect with people. And if you can't do that, phone calls are, yeah, amazing. I know nobody answers the phone,
Nope.
but send a voice text, right? Like, don't just text somebody. This carries over. I just had this talk with my team this morning, like when you are trying to win offers, you guys are writing offers right now yet?
No, they're brand
Not yet.
new.
Brand new, okay. When you get to writing offers, call the listing agents. Don't text them, don't just send an offer. Like, you have to call, you have to build a relationship, you have to help try to solve their problems for them. Like, what's the pain point that your sellers, like, what's the most important thing? And if they don't answer the phone, then send them a voice text. Don't just text it, don't just email, because people are like, it's always been important, but even more right now when they're getting a barrage of offers from other agents.
Yeah.
We had a listing last weekend in Billboa. We got 6 offers on it. 3 of the agents called me and multiple times to stay updated, like, on their offers. One I just received out of the blue. I didn't even know the guy had shown the house because he came through the open house with his clients.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, surprise. And the 2 that were like the first position, both of those agents called me like multiple times all weekend to stay on top of it and stay in front of it for their clients. So phone conversations, like voice conversations, carries from lead gen all the way to closing.
Yep.
Yeah, so being in proximity with people, that's how I built my business and experience success.
This is a good question, Cody.
Can I like chime in on something?
Yeah.
So like an idea because you're from out of state, I know a couple of you are from out of state too, like Austin was. I did a book club last year.
All
that
4
was
are.
via Zoom, so anybody even out of state could join. And I was gonna be reading the book regardless, but I got a few out of state referrals from it, because I could have that conversation, like, they're like, oh, I wish you were here, I'm shopping, I'm like, oh, I could still help you. And then at least you get a 20% or 30% or however you negotiate a referral fee. And I got that I got 2 out of state referrals last year from my book club, and I was gonna be reading my book anyway, you know what I mean?
That's awesome.
So just like to Jenny's point, like find something that you know you're gonna do anyways, like a hobby of yours, like Austin's paddleboarding, he goes paddleboarding anyways.
Right.
So like, why not turn it into an opportunity? You
That's
know?
right.
Yeah, and Nick, my team, he loves mountain biking, so he volunteers to do trail cleanup 1 Saturday a month. You know, because the people who mountain bike are spending tens of thousands of dollars on their mountain bikes. Like, these are people who have, you know.
How would you recommend actually like initiating that though? It's not like I have like a group of friends where I could say like, oh, all right, let's go do this. Like, I'm gonna create like some just posts online somewhere, or like, how could I?
Well, meetup
Yeah.
groups are a real thing. Like, so I think it's just meetup.com.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you can go,
yeah.
you can find groups of people doing activities that you enjoy,
Okay.
whether it's fishing or knitting.
Yeah, I've gone
or-
to like random
Yeah.
wine tastings that like someone posted, like,
Yeah,
any winos in the area free on Saturday, meeting up at blah, 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 and I'll just randomly show up and talk to strangers. I don't know, stranger danger.
yeah,
It's
well,
not, you know?
Nick, so
Oh my
Nick,
gosh.
Nick on my team, he and his wife used to go to New Seasons in Progress Ridge, because there's a wine bar in there every Friday night, and their group of friends is like half of them are from New Seasons. Because they met them talking at the wine bar, like.
Yeah, you just
so,
gotta get out there.
yeah, just go for it, and if you can't buy wine, buy a glass of water and put a lime in it, you know, like, who cares?
Right.
Just be there. Just figure, I would just like identify, sit down and make a list of all the stuff that you enjoy doing
Yeah.
that involves other people. Or maybe doesn't directly involve, but like.
No, just
biking.
write down a list of, we'll do that. And
Yeah,
I'll let you next
volunteering,
week.
like you can volunteer at like Brew Fest, parade.
Yeah.
I mean, now that COVID's like fizzled out, all like the Rose Parade's coming back this year, you can volunteer at that. I mean, there's tons of stuff you can volunteer at, like total strangers from all
Right.
over the metro.
Totally. Yep.
And think about how you can grow it, make it.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss Jenny, your first year, 2018, you had 10 closings at 5.6 million in volume.
Mhm.
Then the next year you had 15 at 7.8,
Mhm.
and then 20, right? Oops, don't touch that. she had 23 closings at 14.5 mil in sales volume. Last year she had 33 closings at 21.7 mil.
And then my team closed another,
No, this is just Jenny, you guys.
that was just me. Last year, yeah, that's just because we run their transactions under them. So,
Under them instead of your wife.
yeah. I don't know. I don't
If you
know.
want to be a true team and you want the team and the volume and they're selling as the team, you should have all of them. We need to set you up as you need to go in as a team too.
Oh, okay.
That's a conversation you have with them too, though.
Okay.
Everything goes under the team.
Yeah, Nick said that, but I was just like, oh, why does
Because,
it matter?
well, here's what matters, okay,
Okay.
and you guys too, like, if you ever think about, if your picture is to be a huge team as you go.
Or a small
this-
team.
Or small, like wherever you wanna be at, right? So if they all have to use J Hill Property Group for all their marketing, then it's your team.
Mhm.
So when it comes to awards and your volume and everything, if you don't have them under your team, then you're not gonna compete against.
Is that why when like Austin sends out the top teams and stuff, I'm like, we did more than that, but is
You're
that
not
why?
on- Yes,
Because
because
you-
you don't have them all included in it.
Oh, okay,
Talk
and you
to
guys
Rhonda.
don't calculate it.
Well, you
like,
have to tell
the
us to do
people-
that.
Okay.
No,
alright.
KW does it.
Oh.
And then that's where we get the
I
report.
see.
So if you want your team, I mean, you're
Learning as I
making them
go.
market as the
No,
whole
they get
property
to
group.
market, I'm not making them.
Well,
It's their pleasure to be marketed. under
it is
the
their
property
pleasure to
group.
be marketed as that, but they don't get their own individuals.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So as you were set up right now per KW, their individual volume is their own and you're just you.
Oh, okay,
So if you want all of you guys to be successful together,
yeah,
then you need to go talk to Robbie and
okay,
Corinne
okay,
and have them fix that.
okay.
Sooner the
See?
better, right? Because
Learning as we go, yeah.
yeah, but that's awesome. So how much did you guys actually do last year?
We actually closed 46 transactions. It was like 32 million in volume. This year, we're gonna be MRA.
Are you?
We're gonna close 49 million.
Bam. That's awesome.
And we're tracking.
Keep going.
Tracking for it.
That's awesome.
It is like, yeah, I shared a Facebook post yesterday. Because Ashley just had her first listing go live yesterday and Nick launched his first listing on our team. And it was just like magical, like the group effort. And like when you're working towards a goal with other people, it's just like, there's nothing like it. I don't know. It's just really good. And see them grow and get excited is really fulfilling.
That's what I do with all you guys.
Yeah, you get it. She
I
gets
get
it. It's
great.
super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, lead generation, like don't overthink it, but focus on it. I mean, we have made it a system now, because I didn't have a system for lead gen. I was just like hanging out with people, and it worked for me because I had a really strong sphere and I'm like a social activator. But I really, and that's kind of what I thought I was going to teach Austin and Ashley when they first came on. I was like, grow your day. I'm going to teach you how, because this is not a team where you're going to walk in and have 10 leads on your desk every morning. This is not my job. It's not my job to give you leads. It's my job to teach you how to grow your database and leverage it for business. And they were like all in, but then I realized like we have to have more structure. So now we calendar our lead gen every week. They have a menu of activities, whether that's door knocking, which Nick door knocks the crap out of Billabot every week, and open houses, networking events, but it all has to be like proactive. And then we market really heavily too, to enhance that. But yeah, calendaring your activities, because you can go back and look. Like, I did not work much in December. I went to 12 holiday parties. I was living my best life. My husband and I went to Cabo. I was so burnt out. I was like done working. And so I didn't do any lead gen in December. And sure enough, like in January and February, I mean, we only had 2 listings.
Anyway.
Yeah. So it's like you can like totally see how your activity impacts down the road on your calendar. And we signed up for CTE so we can like track that. And so those conversations aren't like, it's not like, oh, surprise, you don't have any business in your pipeline now. It's like, oh, here's why, you know? So
Yeah.
just make it a part of your DNA to have conversations. And if you get to the end of the week and you're like, oh, I haven't talked to anybody all week, then start knocking on doors,
Yeah.
you know? And you always have value to add. You know, I don't like the idea of knocking on a door, just be like, I'm a realtor, you know, you always have to come with value. And I take that same approach with like referral sources. Like I work with several custom home builders and just met with a new one this last week because we have buyers that are gonna build the Street of Dreams next year. Yay! And you have to come from a place of contribution, like, you know, how can I add value to your business? Like, you know, or take a market update, like print out something from Command that has a market update and go knock on doors and say, hey, like I'm a local realtor, just wanted to give you guys a market update. Most people don't understand how much their house is worth these days. Like offer a home equity analysis. And if you don't know what that means, ask Tanya and she can teach you.
Yep.
Yeah. So as long as you're coming from value, people don't shut you down, right? They may not be instant customer or instant clients, but they'll at least, you know, it'll be positive interaction. That's another thing. Like I think when you first get started, I'm gonna like jab around.
Yeah,
You want me to sit
but
down?
this is gold, right, guys?
Yeah, when you are doing open houses or whatever, when you can get them right now, it's rough, but not everyone has to be your client. And I think when you're new and you're so like eager and desperate, like and broke, and you need that business, you want to close every person, and you lose, like you're so ineffective when you come from a place of desperation. And I learned that really quickly. And you may end up working with somebody that you shouldn't. I had some clients that I met through an open house when I was first out on my own, and they were an older couple. They seemed affluent. They had a beautiful house in Victoria Woods in Tualatin, and they were looking for a house, and he kept telling me that their budget was 1.3 million. And I was like, this is amazing. I showed them so many houses and they refused to get pre-qualified. Like I would bring it up like, well, hey, we really need to get you guys pre-qualified. But I, like looking back, like they gave me so many signs that they were not qualified, motivated clients, but I was so eager that I wasted probably 3 months of like weekends showing them houses. And so just, you are interviewing people just as much as they are interviewing you. And I know that's really hard to hear right now because there are more realtors than there are stars in the sky, but you still, like the right people will come, you'll connect with them, and you just need to ask the right questions and motivation to get really clear on whether they're worth your time.
They did buy a house.
What's that?
They did buy a house.
No, they didn't, because I finally realized that it was like a waste of my
They just
time.
wanted to see the
They
house.
just wanted to go look at houses.
They were
Yeah.
a bored older couple.
They were dreaming, but not motivated. And like the motivation is like the most important thing. Motivation and qualification. Yeah.
Do you remember in our scripts the other day, right? It was how motivated are they? And we had
Yeah.
a script to try to figure that out.
Yeah, especially, I mean, the first section of the shift, like the first thing, the shift is like identifying the most motivated clients. Because those are the ones that you will direct your energy at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Most agents won't show houses without a pre-qualification.
Yep.
right,
For that reason, so that you're not wasting your time.
right. Yep,
Yeah.
okay. I'll stop.
Jenny, thank you so much.
Wait, can I ask one question?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, how often or how much do you follow up after like meetings, like especially with like first time people? So like if you meet someone at like a party or girls' night, do you have a system of follow-up?
That is
in general,
something that,
besides just adding them to like your
Yeah.
newsletter or whatever.
right, I guess it depends on the conversation, like, so, I had a listing appointment last week, on Monday with, somebody who reached out to us from Ladies Night, and, their motivation isn't like on fire, but I'm gonna follow, because we listed the townhouse literally next door to theirs, and so depending on the outcome of that, like, it just depends on the circumstances. We are now using Brevity, and so we're gonna have a more systematic follow-up. But for me personally, because so much of my business, as I was growing was database and Sphere, it was really natural and it was like in my mind, which is not good. Start with a database, like put it in command, use the database. Because when you get 2.5 years in and you're like, oh, I need to create a database, it's hard.
Yeah, it's really hard to go back.
Right. So yes, now we do have a more systematic follow-up. But when people are ready now, like it's an instant, like we're scheduling, we're connecting them with Chad, with the lender, and we're scheduling time to get together right away. Especially because of the way the market is, especially buyers,
Right,
it's like
they
we have to
have
buy
to.
tomorrow.
Right.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
never gonna own a house, right? Like,
Yeah, right?
it's like right now, it's,
And they need to know all potential
Yeah.
needs and their financing and
right.
appraisal gaps and
Yeah,
all that
There's
stuff,
so many
right?
facets to it right now, literally right now, that may be totally different in 30 days, right? Like
Yeah,
we're in
for
this
sure.
really weird thing. Are you guys having conversations about that? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
yeah. And every week, the weekly meeting and.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's, people have lost their minds.
Yeah, they have. And it's not gonna change because we don't have inventory. And buyers still want houses.
I know, but like, yeah, it's a very uncomfortable feeling for me because I'm like, wanted to lead and coach my team, but then also nobody knows like
No.
what exactly is going to happen.
We don't, so we have to deal with what we have now,
Right,
share
Yeah.
the information. and
clarity
what-
over certainty, right? Like we
Yeah.
have that conversation with our clients, like there is no certainty in real estate, so we focus on clarity, like we know where we're coming from and why we're here. What's happening tomorrow, we have no idea, so we make plans based on last week.
Yeah. Yeah, last week,
Last week.
yesterday. Jenny, that was great.
Thank you.
I love it. Do you want that? Did you still
Oh.
want to keep this?
Sure.
Maybe you can use it on your kids.
My kids.
You guys are awesome.
Jenny gets to come back and teach you guys marketing on, I think that's Thursday or Wednesday,
Wednesday.
because we're not doing it on Thursdays because of both. On Wednesday, the 13th, marketing your value for Ignite. So, if most of you guys don't know, y'all have to attend these classes. Like, it's mandatory, part of your training, okay? Thank you, Jenny, I appreciate you. Okay, so real fast before we dive into this, because we're, we'll go, as always, we'll zip through it or we'll be late, right? The little sheet of paper that I handed you guys. Click on this so I can click through. Alexa, turn on the projector. I want you to write down your name and I want you to write down your size.
Do you want me to write it down?
Yes, I want your name and your size on those. All 4 of you guys get a jacket. Because you are always here. You guys are my determined that want to get it. Don't worry, you're still gonna get it. I'm looking at your face.
No, I'm just thinking, sometimes I'm medium and sometimes I'm large. I don't
And
know.
we don't have any, so, y'all have seen, Austin walking around in that gray jacket. It's like a, it's a lightweight, but it also has like a light, it has that nice soft lining inside it. It's a rain jacket, like an all-weather jacket. It's very business-like. I don't think he's wearing it today. You're gonna go get a pen? Yeah, I'm gonna bring it in here.
Oh, for sure.
And it has KW on it, okay? So, it's gray, it's kind of a gray, blackish, like textured looking for the men. The women, we're not sure if there's gray or if it's black and red, so but we can find out from Sydney. But I want you guys, I asked you to please give all of you guys one, okay? And Crane said, of course.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Did she turn on? Power session. Why are we here? I know every time, right? Just bring them up here to me.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn them in and we'll get them ordered and
Use Google Meetup Portland. It's
For
that's that.
It's a real thing?
Yeah.
it's a real thing.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay,
Just our name, our size.
yep, just your name and your size. Well, we're all done. Be present today. Exercise. All right, we did that. We know why we're here. We're at the end, you guys.
Oh, really?
Why are you here? Are you guys ready to go 200 miles an hour?
Yes.
Thank you.
Is this thing on?
Test. This is normal in my class.
Exactly.
Right there on page 6. Do you want to close 36 transactions or more a year?
Who doesn't?
Gary Keller says, you're a Ferrari. Are you ready to go 200 miles per hour? Are you? You can do it, but wishing for it is not going to tell you exactly what you have to do right now. Business planning will. You guys have to plan your business. Part of planning your business is having goals, right? You need to know your economic model. You need to know the lead gen model, which is what we just taught you guys. You need to know the budget model. You have to work your 411, your goals, your one thing, your GPS. I've handed you guys out sheets on that. If you don't have it, we'll get more. I think I have to refill in my pegs outside my door, but all of that is available. Actually, I think all of it's in Slack. Okay. So you have to know the models. The models are also in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Let's switch this over here. So learn them, stick to them, do them, and you guys are going to be successful. Okay. Does everybody know their big why? Do you know why you're doing real estate? Why you want to have 36 transactions a year?
Are you asking us now?
I am.
Oh, okay.
Do we know why we're doing this? Why are you here today?
Because we're looking for brighter future.
You, yeah, for you. Why are you
I
here?
am looking for a bit brighter future. I would love to connect with people. I would love to help people. And real estate, because I want to do my own business. I don't want to work for somebody else. And also I love houses and I enjoy like even decorating it and everything. And I think with 2 kids, it works perfect for my schedule. That's kind of some of my
That's
whys.
some of your whys.
Yeah.
Dig a little deeper. I gave you that pamphlet, didn't I?
I don't know.
I will give you a pamphlet. I mean, that's good. You got to start writing down things and then we're going to dig deeper. Cody, why are you here? It could be simple. Everybody's is different.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's because money, but
Then that's it.
yeah.
If money is what, everything that someone says is gonna come back to money, but for some people, it's like flat out, I want $100,000 this year. Right? Or whatever it is.
I want to just like, it's a stepping stone to be able to build what I would like to achieve.
I love it. That's a good why. Jason, what's your why?
Don't cheat.
What did you say?
You
Don't
will
cheat.
cheat.
No, he's not fully present.
Oh,
Present, 100%. I've been listening to everyone, and it's pretty much the same as his. Like at the end of the day, I could say like, oh, it's to do this or do that, but it all roots back to just having that financial freedom and being able to.
What does the financial freedom look like to you?
Well, I've already known what my number is to like live comfortable with like me and my family, and that's at least like 100K. So my financial freedom is making 100K.
For this,
So that's
for your
like-
first goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's gonna change when you hit that.
Well, I'm not
Could change.
Yeah.
prone to lifestyle inflation.
Yeah,
That's like a part of lifestyle inflation.
right. But anytime, remember we talked about it.
That's good.
I could live
How
like the
many
same way that I can
transactions?
now, you know,
Yeah, how many transactions do you have to have
about.
with our
12.
average 12 to hit 100,000
Yeah.
net? That's easy.
Exactly.
Man,
That's it. 12 transactions. That's one a month.
Exactly.
Y'all can hit 2 a month.
and still do that by yourself without an assistant, without a transaction coordinator, without doing anything. I was up to 36 by myself.
That's what I want to do.
And at that point, I was like, okay, I really need some help,
Yeah.
right? At 36, oh, I wish I had my sheet with me, see if I can pull it out of my brain and remember what it was. At 36 transactions, I believe we were at $500,000. I believe that's what it was. Cause didn't I say
What?
450,000 or something like that? Wasn't that
The
what we
average
had?
price was 560 though, and at 560, you would get more than one.
No, our average sales price in our office is $630 or $26,000.
Yeah,
We put it at $500,000.
okay.
Hold on. Granted, your cost of sales and your expenses are going to increase as you go, right?
So I was saying, you can net 100
So
grand off 12 transactions.
net, yes. And I put the cost of sale, or not the cost of sales, I put the expenses at about $10,000 because you guys aren't going to have a lot of expenses with 12 transactions in your first year. Your expenses are going to be low, right? But I even included cost of sales with at least two referrals in there, just in case, because Op City,
Yeah.
right? So, because expenses are going to be everything that it costs you to do business,
Yeah.
whether you get paid or not.
Mhm.
Licensing, car, phone, association, well, that's licensing, association, all of that, right? That's your expenses. I gotta pay this just to have my business. Your cost of sales is gonna be the company dollar, the royalty to KWRI, and then if you pay a TC, which none of you should be doing that in your first year, because you need to know what you're doing, and any referral fees. So if someone sends you a transaction and you have to pay a referral fee, that's a cost of sale, right?
Yeah.
So as a brand new agent, 12 transactions, both of those are really low. Your expenses are, I put 10, just in case you want to spend some money, right?
Okay.
And the other one is basically, I think I had it around $25,000. Okay, net $100,000. So if we did 12.5 times 36 transactions, it's 450, and then you take out your expenses and stuff. So $450,000,
Yeah.
and then figure out your cost of sales and your expenses, because they will go up when you hit 36, but not that much necessarily. Maybe you're marketing more, depends on how your business grows, right? So the potential to really grow
Yeah.
will change as we go,
That's-
right? For all you guys, having a goal of 12 for your first year is a great goal to set. And if you hit it before we hit the year, well, then what do? We just bump it up,
Exactly.
right? But setting a goal at 36 for your first year, as you start going, guess what happens? We start looking at our 36 and we're like, I'm never going to get there. So then you kind of cut back on what you're doing, right? Because you're never going to get there, and you don't want to do that. You really want to strive and you want to push and you want to get. So you don't want a goal that's too low, because if you guys are all in, like every day you don't have another job and you're all in, and you told me you want to do 6 your first year, now you set your goal too low. Because then it's like, oh, I'll get there. It's that it's procrastination, right? Every single bit of it is procrastination. But if you set yourself a decent goal for your first year at hitting 1 transaction a month, now we all know your first 3 to 6 months, you might not have one, right? That's why I always say right up front, make sure you have money to get you through, because you need to not have that pressure of, I need a transaction. Jenny just told you guys that, right? Because then the way you're presenting yourself and the way you're coming across, even if you don't mean to, they see it, they feel it, right? So you want to be able to be comfortable to where you guys can just go do what you need to do to grow your business and let people feel that you're successful in what you're doing, right?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how many percent of people they change their house when they buy the house? Do you know what I mean? Like, they just bought a house
Yeah,
and you wanna go door knocking and you know that people, they just bought this house, how many percent of people are moving out of that house or having like,
you want the turnover rate. That, when Old Republic was here, they have an app that actually, as you're walking neighborhood, or you can even not in the neighborhood, but it's great because when you're in the neighborhood, you can pull it up and walk. But when you're searching for a farm, it actually pulls up and tells you what the turnover rate is. I love that app. That tells you, like, so they figure in an average how many years people move out of a home. Well, it's changing all the time. Like, I think it's ranged from 3 to 12 years. You never know. It's all circumstantial, right? Someone could just buy a home with the intention, like a couple, or a single person could buy a home with the intention that he's gonna have this property. He meets someone, he gets married, and it doesn't work, right? Or couple, there are no plans of having a kid, bam, kid comes along, bam, another kid comes along, and we're in a 2-bedroom house. Right? I mean, things change all the time. Job transfer, you never know, which is why it's kind of hard. But the big thing to do is when you're looking at a neighborhood that you want to farm in, there are neighborhoods that people live there a very long time.
Yeah.
And that's the turnover rate, right? So if you have a neighborhood that retirees go to, or families that'll move in there when their kids are young and they pretty much stay until they graduate, that might not be the neighborhood, right? Or look at the turnover rate and then look at how long everybody's already lived there. If it's a family neighborhood and they've all lived there for a pretty long time, but their kids are older, there's no little kids running around, that might be a good neighborhood to start hitting because they all could be becoming ready to now downsize. Right? And get the max because they no longer have children. Or maybe they don't.
Well, the conversation's always there too, like even if they've only been there a year, so they might not be looking to sell, but maybe they wanna help pick their next neighbor.
Yeah.
So you could always start like, I know you've only been here a year, I was curious, how do you like living in this neighborhood?
Yep.
Are there family members you know that you would like to be in this neighborhood?
Your
'Cause then you
friends.
could do a letter to all the other neighbors saying, I have a buyer that wants to live on this street, is anyone thinking about selling? Because I already have a buyer lined up.
Yep.
Like, and then you could like, so even though you know they might not be the listing you're going for, they might give you something else.
Yep. That's exactly it. Remember we talked about doing a neighborhood open house? That's the exact conversations. Inviting all the neighbors to the open house, whether they're looking for a family member to live, a friend to live in their neighborhood, or they just want to see it, or they're thinking about and they want to see how the home compares, right?
I think people don't farm apartments enough.
No.
I think you should farm apartments like crazy because no one's doing it. And those
Yeah.
are the people that are probably like ready to like get out of it.
Especially like think about how high the rental costs are. And every year it goes up. If you look into it, like pretend you're gonna go live there and find out what the rental costs are, right? What's the average tenant paying in that place? Then go look and find out, talk to your lender and find out what kind of house payment is that? What's the sales price on it? And then go look at neighborhoods, cross farm it, right? Look at neighborhoods that are in that price range that most of the tenants in that place are gonna wanna move to and buy, because it's probably close to where they work, right? And then now you're marketing them with homes, potential neighborhood, talking about it. Invite them to a seminar. There's all kinds of things that you guys can do. You could do a first-time home buyer seminar, you could just do a home buying seminar. Home buying in this crazy market. Come find out how you can do it. Do you really need 20% down? Right? Most people think they do.
A lot of people think their credit score is supposed to be like 700.
Yeah, it doesn't,
People are getting approved at like 530.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's it too. Like, all the myths of home buying, right? Chris,
Yes.
I didn't get to you. What's your big why? Look at this. We're an hour and 5 minutes in and we're only on page 9. It's typical for us, right? Thank you, Rochelle.
My wife's Rylan.
Tell Rylan, hi.
I will.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's always my wife.
It's a great way.
Yeah.
I used to be a salesperson and a marketer. I worked for 10 years in Korea, and I had to find a job that I can use my experience and my skills through those working experience. And I love buying a house. I love living in a house. I love buying a house. I love staging. I love decorating. So this is a perfect job. And especially I'm a very extrovert. I really like to people. I really like to get along with other people, get to know other people.
That's great.
So this is a perfect job for me in this new country for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's good traits to have for it too. So you guys got to know your why. You got to know why because it gets tough. The longer you're coming in and you don't have a client, it gets tougher and tougher and tougher, right? So you got to remember your why that gets you up out of bed every day, 5 days a week at least, right? And get you to get up and do the lead generation activities that you need to do. And all the other activities that you need to do, right? Treat it like a business. So know your big why. If it's a lot of stuff, that's all right. If you can dig in deeper, and the one thing is the book that'll get you there, the podcast, that will dig in to get to your one big why.
Start with one dominant.
That's right. Aww.
Coincidentally, the room that I usually call in has the one dominant.
Does it have it in there?
Tiffany, yeah, just that little poster. I was like, that's the sign.
It is, that's true, right?
Yeah.
If they're too far apart, you're not doing, if you don't set it up right, guess what? You ain't taking the rest down, right? You got to set everything up accordingly. Okay, hey, it's about more than paying your bills. Think about what a successful real estate career will do for you. Write out your big why. So that's where it comes, that's like what Jenny was saying, right? Look at yourself 5 years from now. Look at yourself. Look at your obituary. What is it going to say about you? What do you want it to say about you? What do you want other people to say about you? Do you want to be someone that, do you just want to be a really fantastic parent? And that's great, right? You help supported your family. Your kids are doing fantastic and great. And you're able to give them a good education, right? I mean, there's all kinds of things. That is fantastic. And it's because of what you did. Maybe you go a little bit deeper or different, not deeper, but in a different path, right? Like me. Everything that I do is because I want to be able to go help take the people on the disabled on these trips to get them to go underwater and experience the freedom that they never get because they're always sitting in a chair. The only time they're not sitting in a chair or on a bed is when they're underwater. It's life-changing. Every time I talk about it and I see it, there's a big, huge movie premiere that they're doing for this company that we learned our way of diving with disabled. They did a movie in it. They're having a premiere in Chicago next month. You know I'm going to put the video out because you all got to watch it and then cry with me.
Looks like you're ready to cry.
But I am,
Yeah.
because it means that much to me. And I grow business from it because it means that much to me. But that's why I'm here every day teaching you guys, because it helps. When you guys have stuff, I get a bonus. Without it, I don't get a bonus. So I want to make sure you guys succeed, right? You're my why. So find, what is it? What is it that goes deeper? What is it? Where do you see yourself? Do you see, I know he's got a car in mind. And then we told him it's going to be a bigger car, right?
What's the goal? I don't really.
He's got-
I don't even care. Like,
No, I know, but I
I
mean,
Tesla.
it's a good, I mean, it's the same car my son had, right? Charger.
or challenge?
Challenger, yes. Thank you. I always got him mixed up. He had a Challenger. He had like the Carolina Panther blue Charger. Or Challenger, sorry. Every time. I go, son, what is it? Same name. That's a great car. I rode in it. I can't have one of those. I get tickets.
That's not necessarily my why though. Like,
No, but like that's one step, right?
yeah.
It's one step. It's a life. It's the start of seeing your successful life, right? What it can do for you, and then how can you turn it and do for others? Or not. I know every single person always wants to help others though, right? In some way, whether it's your own family,
That's all life is.
right? If it's your kids, if it's your parents, if it's your siblings, we all have our own stories, right? So what is your story? What is going to be your story? Write it down. Like figure it out and write it down. What do you want your story to be? And then that's going to drive you to where, and then you're going to dissect it, right? And what does that story look like? And then how does that work in my life right now? Like Ginny, her story and what she wants to do, she didn't know it required her to have 5 people on her team. But having those 5 people on her team, she goes to Cabo all the time. Every time she goes, I'm like, dang, how did you do that? Right? She goes on camping trips. She does all kinds of fun stuff. She takes her team on events to better them, to lift them, to grow them, right? It's the same thing. You all can get to that level, or you can go even bigger. Back here, they set goals. Whoever achieved those goals, he's taking part of his team to Mexico because they reached their goal, right? So driving forces, everyone wants something to push them, right? To get them to want to achieve that goal. Make your own. Just if it's as simple as if you're finding that you're not setting yourself up every single day to do the activities you need to do, that I need to talk to 20 people every day. What's something that you want to have every day? What's something that would be a treat? Go out to dinner. Have a nice drink at the end of the day.
Gotta pay the toll.
You got to pay the toll to get it. Yeah, absolutely. If I don't talk to 20 people, I have to have ramen at home instead of going and getting sushi. Right? And like, make yourself, find what it is that's going to push you. That's what figuring out what your why is, right? And then we break it down and we figure it out. But if you got to be accountable to yourself, and if a way, just a tool, a tactic to get you to be accountable to yourself is give yourself little treats, little morsels along the way, right? Hansel and Gretel following the breadcrumbs, right? Get yourself to your goal. Set yourself up a little things. What if you had your first closing? We all know we need to put how much away for taxes? No.
30?
Every transaction, you guys put 30% in the savings account. Okay? That's gonna take your federal and your state. Don't forget, you also have to pay your self-employment tax, and you have to pay your own Social Security and Medicare. So your tax is gonna be higher. 30% out of every transaction. Just take that sucker aside, put it in the bank so that when tax time comes, you're not having to suddenly write a check for $15,000 or more. Okay? If you don't spend it all, your choice, leave it in there for the next year because you're going to do better. Put some of it back into the budget, back into your business, or treat yourself, right? But every closing you should have, you have your first closing. You have your first closing. My gosh, go out to a nice dinner, right? Buy a new jacket or a suit or something to help you with your business, right? Say, you know what, and whatever it is, that just like, it's a little present to yourself, right? Or maybe your goal is to buy your first house.
Yeah.
Then out of my first closing, 30% goes to savings for IRS and state. And then I've got, what is my budget? Because we all are going to figure out what a budget is. What do I need to do? What am I going to spend on my marketing or anything else for this year? I need to put that aside, or living expenses if I don't have enough to wait for the next closing. And then take a portion of what's left and put it into your, set. Every closing, I'm gonna put $500 into my savings to buy a new house. Right, or whatever that amount is. That commission check goes real fast. It really, really does. But you guys need some kind of a celebration for your very first one. Even if it's a small celebration, right? Congratulations, I got a closing. I'll get my next one, right? The models. Economic model, lead gen model, budget model, and organization model. So the economic model. If we go over and let's just go right to, because we're going to go through this fast, go to page 12. They have it on here. Here we go. Connect the dots. It looks like this. You're going to connect the dots between your income goal and your fundamental activities. Okay. Assumptions. 80% of a listing appointment I will convert into an actual listing. Okay. 65% of a listing agreement will turn into a pending. 65% of a buyer appointment will turn into them wanting to work with me. 80% of a buyer agreement turns into an under contract. Okay, in command, it's a little bit different. I love this, $250,000 average sales price. Do you guys know how good you have it here? Like this is a lot of the country. Our average sales price in this market center right here, $630 or $26,000 last year, average.
And it goes up now, right?
Yeah, I think we had 1 month that dipped down a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it dipped into the 5s again, but this is typical over most of the country. In order for these guys to make as much as you guys can with 12 transactions, they have to do 24 just to make $100,000. We got it made here, right? Average commission, 7.5, 12.5. I'm putting us at $500,000, not even the 626, right? And splitting your business 50-50. Do you guys have to split your business 50-50? No. This is what you get when you're on a team. Nuts doesn't even include the 30 that you got to give to KW, PP, and the 6 you have to give to KW. Just think about that. When you're on a team, right off the top, you're doing 30% to KWPP, you're doing 6% to KW, RI, International, right, the royalty fee, and then you split 50-50 with the team. How much does that leave you? Like 25, 30 maybe of the whole commission on a team, right? And then you take out your expenses and your taxes and everything else. It is steep.
How's it going to take 50%?
Because they're providing you with all that,
Oh,
right?
yeah, I guess that's fair.
They actually provide you with all the training that I do. Ain't this good?
Agreed.
I guarantee it.
Yeah,
I came from one. Right? So
yeah, the one that I was on was no training.
that's right.
It's like, they were like, here, watch these YouTube videos. Like,
Yep. Go do it. But I don't have a closing yet. I hear that from new agents that have been at other places all the time. I'm like, well, come here and I'll tell you how to get business. Right? I'll show you how to be a real estate agent.
When I was looking around to see where I want to work,
Mhm.
I talked to a lot of and I was like, what kind of training do you offer? And they were like, oh, you know what? All the training you get from the title companies. I was like, what?
Oh, CE classes. That doesn't teach you how to be a real estate agent. Not at all. Yeah, a lot of them don't. They just think it's easy to be a team, right? Just have people that are going to come and they're going to go do real estate and I don't have to do anything. Well, that's not the case. You guys need everything, right? You need everything. You need as much help as you can to help you grow and be successful. When I started in real estate, now, even though I started on as a listing assistant and then as a transaction person, when I started on a team, because I'd already had experience, I was just flung in. Go. Get business. I wasn't trained on budget. I wasn't trained on taxes. I asked about it. How much should I be putting aside for my taxes? And that, don't worry about it. You're not gonna make enough your first year. Well, shit, I did. I blew his mind away, right? 24 transactions in my first year at less than this. It wasn't that much money, but not having anything saved because he didn't set me up for success. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're just digging out of a hole, right? I want you digging out of a hole. I want you to be set up for success. I want you guys to succeed. I want you to get business. I want you to be super successful. I want to see some of you guys stand up here and talk to other new agents, right? Look how fast Bradley got to come in and start talking. He's already in our top 20. Y'all can be there too, right? How are we going to get there? Goals. Right? Goals, you got to know it. Okay, so these numbers are a bit skewed. The beauty of, this is before command, the beauty of command is we go and we plug in what, we find out our why, we bring it to a number goal, and realistically, we can all go in and just plug in that 100,000, okay? And then we plug in the numbers and we can sit down and we can each do that when we meet. And command is going to tell you what you need to do. How many appointments do you need? How many contacts do you need? How many closings do you need? And it does all of this math and you don't have to worry about it. I love that, right? Now we're going to do your conversion rate a little bit different, right? Because conversion rates, these conversion rates, they were good for the time of the market, right? Pretty much nowadays, if you guys get a buyer working with you, that conversion rate actually probably should be less. We used to be at like 90%. We'll get them a home, we'll get them sold, right? But now it's getting harder and harder, less listings. So maybe I might bring that one down a little bit because they could get discouraged and then they change their mind, right? So that's where the conversion rate comes into and why we want to track it. Because when we track it, it also shows us how much money we're going to make, right? We all want to know how much money we're going to make, right? What's our potential income that we're going to have this year? So, but if you have a listing, well, shoot, you can almost guarantee that one's going to be at least 90%. At least. I always leave a little bit in there just in case, right? You don't want to count our chickens before the eggs hatched. So none of them should be 100, not one. And then this is like your base, your start, right? And then if you're utilizing command correctly, every time you create an opportunity, when you set an appointment, you put that date in there. You put the date in there on the day you went pending. You put the date in there on the day it closes. And now command's going to go in there in the next year. It's going to tell you what your conversion rates are. So you don't have to figure it. You don't have to go create 20 Excel sheets, to try to figure out what your conversion rate is, right? You don't have to have an Excel sheet to figure out, track where all your leads come from. Because if you do it right inside the system, it's going to work for you. And we want everybody to, we want our life easier, right? Leverage, 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 leverage. So the economic model is knowing in order to achieve the goal that I want money-wise, I need to know what my conversion rates are, how many transactions do I need, how many appointments do I need, all of that in order to reach the goal of $100,000 net a year, net profit, right? Okay. Does everyone understand that? The lead gen model. Oh, look, they heard they go even further, the economic model. Okay, so we do, to get 36 transactions, we go up and we do lead gen 3 hours a day. We get buyer appointments, we get listing appointments. Okay, we started at 34.6 buyer appointments, 65% conversion rate. We're at 22.5 listings, buyer listings, right? If they say, yes, I want to work with you, that's a buyer listing. 80% conversion rate actually ends up at 18 sold. Okay? Same thing over here, listing, 34 listing appointments, 80% conversion rate, 27.7 actually have you list their home to sell, 65% conversion rate. Do you see what I'm saying? The conversion, that's why we need to know our conversion rates. We need to know, and every year it'll change, and you guys can change those at any time. So if you don't know what it is, right now, they say, with the way Command has it set up, it's like 75, 75, 75, and then it's all 75s until you get to leads and contacts, and those are 5. Okay? So if you get 100 leads that come in from your ads or whatever, maybe 5 might turn into an actual contact. Does that sound about right? 5%?
Oh, that you actually talk to?
That you actually talk to.
I see, yeah,
Right? And then out of that, right, then that's where the conversion rate.
yeah.
5% of those will turn into a contact that you really, that may or may not want to do real estate in the next year, right? So that's where their conversion rates are, and that's comes out. But right now, I got that 65% on listings taken at 27. I think we could pretty much count that as 27 sold.
That seems so much more reasonable, because I was thinking, I always thought that it was 100 calls and 5 of those people are probably gonna be looking to buy or sell. That makes a lot more sense, that 5%.
I always say out of
5%.
100 leads, you might get one
Yeah.
that is gonna buy or sell a home in the next 12 months. If they're like internet leads, right? Just random leads that are out there, which is why we also talk about, you want to do that, but then you also want to do community engagement, right? Face to face, and you want to do a farm. That's why we say 3. Find 3 things to bring into your business. Bring your business to you. And then track it, monitor it, make sure you're doing everything you need to do in those. And then you'll see where you're getting better conversion rates, where we need to spend more money, right? See what's working the best. Or maybe where I need to take some classes and training and learn how to do something better, right? And then as we grow, we put more money into it so that we can expand and bring our numbers up. The lead gen model illustrates the relationship between contacts in your database and transactions. So you've got met and haven't met. It demonstrates the total cost per marketing action plan and shows your prospecting base and marketing enhanced lead generation is cost effective, right? We've gone over this. So if you split up your business, 75% are people that you already know and met, and 25% people are ones we don't know yet, right? Random leads. You have 100 METs in your database. You put them on the plans. Let's see if they have it up here. Here we go. The business ratio is 12-2 for METs and 50-1 for haven't METs. Do you see the likelihood of having actual business out of a MET versus a haven't MET? And that's where it goes up, right? The 100 leads, maybe 1, I think. You random, you could get 2. You can get none, right? You could get 5.
Yeah.
It just all depends on how effective is your marketing, right? And what you're sending out to get them to come and respond to you. So 75% of my business times 36 transactions times 6 equals 162 METs in my database. Take out 100 of people that I already have, that leaves me with 62, and divide that by 4 weeks. I need to meet 15.5 people a week. This is where Command does all this for you. You just have to do all this and figure it out and go, okay, what is my formula and what am I doing? Command will do it for you, okay? If you haven't met people, because we don't know anybody, 25% of our business times 36 transactions times 50, we need to have 450 contacts in our database. If we have none in there, then we need to take the 450, divide it by 4 weeks, and then I need to talk to 112.5 people a week. Seems daunting? Take that and divide it by 5.
$22.4.
22 people, 23 people a day. That's a little bit easier. I talked to 100 in 1 day.
20 people a day should be your goal, an actual conversation with. Okay, find your way to get them. Like, where am I gonna talk? Who am I gonna talk to? And what am I gonna bring to them with value, right? Additional contacts to add, and then so to get them, or once you get them, you add your contacts, and then you want to touch them with this is the smart plans, right? The smart plans also, they include things that go out to them automatically, but it also includes, yeah, drip campaigns, smart plans, same thing. It also includes tasks for me to call. If you're not paying for Twilio, tasks for me to send a text message. Okay? Or like Jenny said, send a voice text message. Right? Okay.
Yeah, as far as like calling people, like I've called so many people, and it's never like, it still is like daunting, you know what I mean? It's like, you don't wanna do it, but it's like, you have to do it, you know? It's not super easy, but it's like.
That's why that doesn't always work for everybody,
Yeah.
right? That's an added thing that we do. In addition to the other
Right,
things that we want to do, right? Some people have people that just do that.
ISA or whatever.
ISA or an OSA, and they just call and they answer, they call people back, or they call anybody that they can find to try to get the appointments for the buyer agents or the listing agents. Right now, the buyer agent and the listing agents are still having to call their sphere and are still having to help do the stuff that they do, but that's what they're doing all day long, right? That doesn't have to be your thing. If it's too much, like I know he's getting tired of it because I have him doing a whole bunch of leads for me, try to call to see if we can amp stuff up for you guys.
Yeah.
It's daunting. A whole lot of no's, a whole lot of wrong numbers, a whole lot of, majority is crap.
Yeah.
Don't do it all day long. Intermix it, right? Throw in other things so it doesn't like completely drag you down, because that can just really bum you out. You gotta have in other things that amp you back up and get you excited about real estate, right? Getting out in person is the best.
Oh.
The phone sucks. I hate the phone.
I wanted to look into opening up, especially just like my neighborhood. I live in like townhomes, like apartments. I didn't really think about doing apartments until like she said something too, like, what are you doing after apartments? I was like, oh.
Yeah. Every single renter doesn't want to live in an apartment forever, right?
That's true.
Some do. Some like it.
Yeah.
But a lot of them don't. You missed some classes. So you need to get those pamphlets from them, because we talked a lot in the farming class. Was a big class that we had. Lots of great stuff in there on how to farm pockets. And then Austin's going to be uploading all the videos.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Austin, how many videos do you have uploaded so far? Didn't you love how to call them out? You still on lunch?
It's like I want to start doing
Fired
stuff,
again.
but at the same time I want to finish like watching all these before I go out and make my name, because I don't want to mess up. And, like,
Yeah.
learn some valuable stuff there
Well, we're
first,
gonna have scripts starting Tuesdays,
Yeah.
11 o'clock, right after the team meeting, right in here. Okay, I'm gonna get you guys started.
Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm gonna get you guys started in it next week, and then I gotta go because I have a doctor's appointment. I can't stay the whole time. And then the following week, Kelly's gonna come in and do them with you guys, because I don't want you to miss any. Every Tuesday at 11, right after the team meeting, the office meeting.
Okay, what are we doing?
It's gonna be on scripts. And it's not gonna be me standing up here calling off scripts, because we experienced what that's like. You guys don't talk. You guys, I know you were reading some. You guys are gonna read scripts. I'll throw out scenarios and you guys are gonna do it. I'm gonna bring script books for everybody. Well, printouts,
Yeah.
but, huh?
11 to 1?
30 minutes. No, it's just 30 minutes. Script practice every Tuesday. Okay.
Wait, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can I bring Ryan with me?
Can you bring Ryan with you? Yeah, you can.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Give him some to color.
Let's just see what this.
Make him practice with you.
Okay, because Aryan is at school, but Ryan, I have him on Tuesdays.
On
and
Tuesdays?
Thursdays, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. The lead generation model, right? Stomp on the gas, keep your costs per touch very low. You shouldn't. With lead gen, it shouldn't cost you much at all. It's the marketing that's gonna cost you. The lead generation shouldn't cost you anything. And it's a good way to funnel people right into your database. Budget model. Everybody needs to know their budget model. 36 minutes left. The budget is knowing, right? This is a big one that we do.
Yeah,
What'd you
she
say?
is like 24.
24?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm ending it. Don't worry about it. The budget model is also in command. It's just remember these numbers. 30, 30, 40. The only one that can go up, not down, is the 40. Okay?
Okay, what are they? 30,
Yep. 30% of your income goes no more than 30% can go to cost of sales. No more than 30% of your income should go to your expenses. Period. You never go over 30 in each one. Because what happens, let's say you're budgeting and you're looking at your business and you're like, okay, I'm gonna make 100,000 this year. And I'm working on my referrals from where I come from to here or whatever it is, right? I know I'm gonna have maybe I'm hoping to have 5 referrals this year. Okay. So you've got to figure out how much is that referral fee? How much do I have to pay out? 25% minimum out of every closing is the referral fee that I got to pay. So take 25% of 12.5. Someone do the math for me real fast.
Well, what?
Calculator. 12.5 times 25%.
Well,
12.5 is your commission on a $500,000 transaction, right? Average sales price,
25%, you said? 3.
3,000. So $3,000 of the 12.5 is what I pay a referral to an agent who sent me someone. Okay. Now take 3,000 and multiply it by 5. That's 15,000, right? So 15,000 of my 100,000 plus I also need to figure out my cost of the rest of my cost of sales, which is 21. So what's 21,000 plus 15,000? 36? 36,000 of 100,000. Am I already over my budget? Okay. So then if I take what?
This is after we take the money up for taxes as well, right?
No, that's always last.
Okay.
Okay. This is just cost of sales, expenses, and net profit. Okay. So if I get 100,000 GCI, this is before taxes, before cost of sales, before expenses. This is just, this is the check. This is the 12.5 check that comes in. If I'm planning on doing 100,000 in GCI, okay, well, actually, let's bump that up because the way I figured it's 150. So if I'm expecting 150,000 GCI because I'm going to get to 100,000 net. Okay. So $36,000 of $150,000 is what percent? And let's say in order for me to hit that, I'm going to spend
24.
24%. So I'm under 30, right? I'm under 30. Yes? We don't want to go over 30. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So then my expenses, in order for me to get that, because I don't know anybody here, I'm going to go spend 15, 20, no, let's see, what is it usually about 3? let's say I'm gonna spend about $25,000 in leads. There's companies that charge you $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month, right?
You have to sign a contract.
And you have to sign a contract. So let's say I decide that I'm really gonna, or I'm gonna market the heck out of something, but I'm gonna spend $25,000 in expenses. The other one was 24, how much was the other one? 36,000?
Yeah.
So both are under 30, right? They're both under 30. What's that gonna do with my net profit?
Increase it.
It's gonna increase. Is there anything wrong with that? No, not at all. That's okay. But let's say I decide that I want to hire an assistant. And that assistant salary is going to take me over, what's 30% of 150,000?
$45,000.
45,000. And then minus 25,000 is 20, right? So do you think $20,000 is enough to hire an assistant for a year? No.
No, that's
Okay,
less than minimum
So
wage.
exactly. So probably about, I don't know, 35, 40,000. Okay.
How much is minimum wage here?
17
Minimum
something
wage
now.
here is like 16, 17, and that would be
17
like
something. 17 and a half.
26, 28K a year.
Yeah, so let's say I hire someone at 30K for an assistant. Plus I'm spending 25. So now I'm over my expenses. And I think in my mind, well, that's okay because I'm not hitting my total cost of sales, right? So I'm gonna be okay with going over that 30%. I'm gonna be at like 36%. But my cost of sales is only at like 24%. So I've got that bit bounces out. I didn't change my net profit. Do you think that's okay? Absolutely not.
Why?
You're staying out of your model. Because if I already know my expenses aren't going to change, because that's the cost of doing business, right? What happens if all of a sudden, instead of 5 referrals, I end up with 10? Now, both my cost of sales and my expenses are over the 30%. And there's only one place for it to come from: my net profit. So you always look at your budget model and you stay, do not go over 30% cost of sales. Do not go over 30% expenses. Your net profit will always be 40% or more, right? And if you're budgeting your year out with how much you want to make, and you know your expenses and your cost of sales are more, there's only one thing to do: increase how much money I'm going to make, which means more transactions, because we're budgeting out a year, right? It means I need to work harder.
So you plan to spend this much money, not this much percent. Okay.
And never go over those percentages. So if you sit down and you go, okay, I'm going to spend this much on expenses this year, and I'm going to expect that my cost of sales are going to be this much. You always got to figure in referrals. Okay. Then now I know, and this is what Command does for us too. Now I know, and I say what I want to make for a profit. And then Command tells me how much GCI I need to have. And we plug in what percent of my business is listing, what percent is buyers, what's my average commission for a listing, what's my average commission for buyers. So it actually breaks it all out, right? So as we start out, I always say, let's start a little heavy on buyers, like maybe 75-25, but our goal is to get to 50-50, or, right, higher on the listing side and lower on the buyer side.
So where can I get like a full rundown or like a practice on how to use Command and all those stuff?
That's Austin. He is your tech. You schedule appointments every
How
Wednesday.
can I schedule an
He's
appointment?
open. Just go to him and say, Austin, I need to schedule an appointment. I want to learn how to do this. Every Wednesday from 1:30 to 3:30, he's sitting out. Well, he's sitting in his room, but he's available. He's open. If you all want to come in and say, Austin, we all want to learn how to do this,
Yeah.
then he can come in here and teach you guys. Okay,
You should.
from 2 o'clock on, because we're still in here in a class from 1:30 to 2, right?
Yeah.
Group coaching, 1 to 2. Okay, but yes, he is your go-to. Any questions you have with command, how do I do this and how does this work? That's what he's supposed to do with
There's a
you.
lot we could do with that.
There's a ton.
I
And you
wanna
guys,
get comfortable with it
you
now.
don't have to wait for him. He's created links out to
Yeah, like
command
right
on
now.
how to on kwppagents.com. Yeah, everything is, so you don't have to wait. And there's tons of videos on our YouTube that I used to teach when I was the MCTT on how to do it as an agent. Okay, lots. All right, budget model. We got, I love it. Okay, the race to cap is on. Do you know what cap is?
Yeah.
It's when you pay all your company dollar, right? What does that mean? 100%, baby.
18K, right?
Huh?
It's 18K and it's 6K?
It's 3 actually. It's
It's
18 and
3K?
3.
Oh, no, they-
6%.
Oh, okay.
It's 21. That's 4.5 transactions.
That could be one transaction.
Bam! It has been one transaction. We had someone last year do it. One transaction, $3 million sale.
Uh-huh.
From Op City.
From
I
Op
could do
That's
City.
that.
so awesome.
Yeah, okay, so we already know our production and everything like that, right? That, you guys get that day one when you walk in the door. This is what you can make. Okay, so budget model is just knowing that, and I taught it way better than that, just so you know. And all of this, your expenses, like Mark Scholes, he's our finance ALC chair. He created the budget model to go into QuickBooks for you, or Quicken, one of them. Okay, so if you're using that to track all your business, your expenses and your income, then it will separate everything out the way it needs to go. So talk to him. Let's reach out to him. Mark, I need that. Can you sit down with me and show me how to do it? How can we get it set up into my system so I can start budgeting properly from day one? All right. The organization model. This is a whole training class. It's called ESO. We're just gonna skip right through. All right, so no, you need to know. Oh, do they not have it? They don't have it. As you can see right here, this is in the MREA in the book. So it talks about like you, when you're at the first level, it's you starting out. You're doing the sales and marketing, you're doing the admin and the processing, the transactions. Okay, and you're gonna stay at that until you achieve enough transactions to move you to the second model, which means you get your first assistant. In there, it says exactly at what level should you be doing that. It also is based like on how much you can handle, right?
Yeah.
If you need to have, it always comes back down to your budget. If you can't afford to pay for an assistant, the first possible one that you could possibly use would be a transaction assistant, because you can get virtual where it comes out of cost of sales and they get paid per transaction. But I don't want you guys doing that right off the bat, because you need to learn the process. If you don't know how a transaction runs, how do you know if your virtual assistant is doing it right? Right? So always know, do everything yourself until you hit so many transactions, and then you hire someone to come in to help you out with stuff. And your first person could be a marketing person. If that's not your go-to and you can't, you're not good at it, you don't know what to do, maybe that's the first person we hire. Maybe you started as simple as hiring someone from Fiverr. That's cheap, right? You don't have to have a full-time employee. Find someone that would do just little bits and pieces for you as you need it. Then the next level is going to be a marketing administrative and a transaction coordinator. This is all listed right here on page 21. And then it just goes bigger, you guys. So however big, you can even look at this and say, okay, I want to make it to the 5th level. I want to be a lead. I want to be this person here. I want to have a lead listing specialist. I want to have buyer agents. I want to have a lead buyer agent. And I'm going to have a marketing admin. I'm going to have, is that telemarketers?
Yes.
Yep. So ISA, OSA, right? And I'm going to have a listing manager and I'm gonna have a transaction coordinator. You come down one more level and now you're the CEO, and guess what? You're sitting out here and you got people leading and guiding everything that you do.
So what are you actually doing now?
You're training, you're supporting, like it's your business and you're helping all these people. So you like top down, right? It's the whole business model.
That's when you start making YouTube videos that,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
You're out there marketing your brand. And you've got a head admin that's helping you with all of that. You've got a head listing manager that's managing, your admin is managing the ISAs and the lead listing manager is handling the transaction coordinator. You're also working, you got a listing specialist, you've got a lead buyer agent that takes care of all the buyer agents to make sure that they're doing what they need to do. I mean, you can go all the way down to the 7th level, which is now you're sitting out here and you have a CEO. And guess what else could be under these things? Because they've expanded it now since they did this. Now you can have your own title company, your own mortgage company. You could have your own like command type system. We have an agent at KW that's doing this. His name's Ben Kenny. And Brivity is one of his systems. He's out of Seattle. He's like the youngest. He has his own title company. He has his own mortgage company. He has multiple agents and he's an expansion.
Just
And
so you
he
could
runs it
oversee
all.
What would be the benefit of having your own mortgage company? Just
Isn't
so-
that like,
Well, he owns it.
is that low?
He owns another company, just like Keller Williams.
I just-
Gary Keller now owns a mortgage company.
I've seen-
Gary Keller owns an insurance company, right? I mean, like all these things. It's just building your brand and getting bigger and bigger,
So
right?
it's not necessarily like the mortgage company will help you do real estate, but it's like now I own 2 companies.
But it could be a part of our overall company, right? Our
Okay.
business,
Yeah.
like, just like
Keller
they're in
Williams.
the office, yeah, and there we go. We're referring people to, all my agents are referring their people to my mortgage company, and I'm getting profits from my mortgage company.
There you
I'm
go.
getting profits from my agents, right? I mean, it's big picture,
Yeah.
right? But there is actual systems and models that work you through this. There are steps, and when people try to skip the steps and do it differently, they usually fail. It's tried and true. That's why they call this real estate Bible. And all companies, they do. And all companies use it, not just Keller Williams. Because they studied, they looked at everything to make sure that the models work and the systems work. Everything that's in here is in this book.
Did we get a Bible today?
Do you get a Bible today?
Can we get one?
I have 3 of them.
I would like a Bible.
I already have one.
There,
So,
oh,
Yeah.
look at that. If I turn my head and I don't notice that they're gone.
Well, yeah, I'm not trying to
Okay.
hide.
No, I'm just kidding. I know you gotta go, right? Putting all your models together, right? And that's how we figure out. This is the thing, and it comes down to 3 hours of lead gen. That's how they came up with the whole thing. What type of activities do we need to do in order to succeed and get the business that we want to have, to be able to be successful, to do the right budget? It all comes back down to doing lead generation. You heard Jenny say it too, right? What did she say? She took vacation.
December and January.
And guess what? Their numbers are down.
Whee!
Whee! Right? Because we're having fun, but we're going down. Yeah, right? So don't get on the roller coaster. Get off that roller coaster. Go ride them some, for fun, not actual for your business. Goals to action. Look at that. Give yourself a raise. Really, I mean, you guys are your own bosses. You're paying your own paychecks. Give yourself a raise by having more transactions, by doing everything you need to do it. Remember, right, to start out, you guys, you're gonna have to do a lot until you miss it. I was telling these guys when you walked out, and this is important for you to know. Getting bogged down by having to do all those calls all day long. Time block it. do it only for a certain time. If it's bringing you down, because they're duds, go do something else to lift yourself back up and come back into it again.
Don't do like 8
Right?
hours straight, do like 2 hours.
Yes.
and then Take a break and then do 2 hours.
Do 30 minutes and take a 5-minute break, 10-minute break, right? Whatever it is. Some people can't sit at a computer that long, or, you know, whatever it is that you're doing, know your limits, know when you need to stop, shake it off. Kelly does it all the time. He goes for a walk,
Yeah.
right? Do what you need to do in the time frames that you need to do it, but know what those are and time block it. Right? Time block it. If you guys get used to the habit of time blocking and doing everything that you need to do, then it becomes a habit. And then you're not like constantly you will be looking, but you're not like, what should I be doing? Right? You'll know because you do it every single day. Business days. You guys gotta have time off. Everybody needs time off. Find the days that are the best days for you to have time off. As a real estate agent, we all know Saturdays and Sundays aren't necessarily that day. I always took Fridays off. Always.
For what?
I would do a little bit in the morning and then I'd go spend time with my sister. We'd go to lunch, we'd go shopping. Because during the weekdays, I was working at night showing houses. Weekends, I'm showing houses and doing open houses. I gave myself one, but I also took my vacations. Because I know to recharge myself, I need a time of nothing.
Did you still show houses on Friday?
No,
Oh, really?
most people don't want to look at houses on Fridays.
Oh, yeah.
It's the end of their work week. They're
Yeah.
tired. They want to go out to dinner. They want to go meet up with friends, right? It's the most obvious day to take off. Right?
My house on Friday, and I bought the house.
Did you buy a house on Friday?
Sorry.
I mean, if there's a chance, the market dictates it, right? But, okay, make sure you guys do that. Work on your 411s. Everybody should have one of
That's
these.
401 meeting.
It's one main goal, your annual goal, split out by 1 month and then 4 weeks. Okay, so we do the GPS, which is our goals, priorities, and strategies. Your goal is your 1-year goal. What's my goal I want to achieve this year? What are the things I'm going to do to achieve that goal? And then what are the strategies that I'm going to do to achieve the priority to achieve my goal? And then we take that and we break it down on the 411. So I have my one main goal, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to divide it out by 12 months. And then what are my weekly activities, 4 weeks, that I'm going to do to achieve that goal? If I write down my things that I want to do for week 1 and I don't achieve it, do I ignore them?
Next time.
You're welcome, Cody. I don't ignore them. Guess what happens to them? They all get moved to week 2. And now I'm doubling up my work that I need to do because I chose not to do it. Right? We have these 411 sheets. I think Austin might still have them outside. I have some outside. I think actually I can print more. They're in Slack. PDFs. You can print one anytime you want. Print them in black and white. You don't need to have them red. Copies are free, right? Okay. This is a sample 411. It's changed a little bit by its looks, but it's still effective. And it helps you figure out, you got to figure out how many calls, events, open houses, etc. do I need to do? We know we need to do at least 3 hours every work day. Get yourself accountable. Make sure you do the activities that you need to do to achieve that. Oh my gosh. Number 1 way to make sure you're being accountable to your goals, schedule your one-on-one with me every single month. If you don't schedule your one-on-one with me, I'm not your accountability partner.
How do I do that?
In Slack.
See, I haven't been on slide.
I just invited you again. Did
I
you
didn't
get it?
Nothing yet.
You should have got a kid. You got your
It doesn't let
KW
me
email?
log in. It says we cannot confirm this is you. When I try to log in to my Keller Williams email.
Then you need to go see Austin. That's priority number one. You have gotten a lot of emails already from
I've
KW
been
and
checking my
everything.
other email.
No,
That's where I got Scott Roy.
Is this the one you sent me to? With the group?
no, you're in a different one. You get added to the new agent one once I have the KW email. You need to get that fixed with Austin immediately,
Yes.
okay? Because that's where all your real estate's going to. Everything real estate is going to your KW
Seriously.
email. It's getting bogged down. How many weeks have you been with us now?
March 1st.
Yeah, a whole month of emails that you're gonna wanna go through, read.
Ooh, someone's in trouble.
Yeah, Austin is.
I
He's
mean-
fired.
No, not me, not me. I know exactly why. It's because if you have the KW email created and it hasn't been touched for long enough, because there hasn't been a second mode of verification, either through like your own phone number or something like that for security, we have to reach out to the admin of KW and they have to unlock it.
Will you please do that ASAP?
It has to be done by the agent in the chat through command.
So he's gonna come see you and you're gonna help him fix it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Today, after class.
Immediately. If you miss a goal, why did I miss it? If I don't review what I chose I wanted to do to see what I did wrong or what I didn't do, or if I did it, why wasn't it right? We need to go back and we need to look, because otherwise we're just setting goals and flying right by. Right? We've got to review in everything, right? So you need to, every month, you need to relook at that month goal. What did I need to achieve this month? Maybe start with weeks. What did I need to achieve this week? Why didn't I do it? Right? What am I gonna do to do it? Well, number one, I'm gonna throw it on to next week. Everything that I said I needed to do and I didn't do it because I was too busy playing at the beach or going to get married.
Wow.
I know, I play real here.
She said, catch up.
You gotta throw it forward, right?
Uh-huh.
Or we start over
That's right.
and we adjust our goal. Maybe it means less money in our pocket,
Yeah.
right? I mean, right, it's
That's a
realistic.
whole month.
If we're not doing this, then we're just out there going, woo, right?
Yeah.
We have no idea what we're doing. We have no idea where we're going. We have no idea how much money we're gonna make.
Uh-huh.
And then when the bills come in, you're like, I don't have any money now. What am I gonna do to get the money to pay the bills, right? We don't wanna live that way. It's too much stress on our hearts.
Very.
Way too much stress on our hearts. Budget, plan, use all the models. Weekly to-dos, you know, it's all, you guys, it's all your 411. Your 411 includes your to-dos. Your to-dos are your tasks that you have inside of command. A lot of your to-dos are gonna be based on what you need to do. Like, look at this. This one, they're joining the HOA. If you live in a community that has an HOA, get on the HOA. Now you have an insight because every single person knows who you are, right? Insert yourself into an activity that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then move yourself up to be the leader of that.
It's just like,
As you become the leader of it, no matter what it is, not even necessarily an HOA, maybe it's a fun activity, right? Maybe it's the paddleboarding. Now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna like take over and be the person that's setting everything up. And they all know who I am now. That's what it takes. Right?
yeah, it's just like for me, the number one activity is like camping, but camping is mainly something you do like not with other people.
Want to bet? Do you know how much camping changed my life by meeting people?
People would want to camp like just a big old like
Yes.
camping, like fiesta party type
Yes.
of thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Camping's big here. People do it in groups.
Camping is usually like.
Do you know how hard
it's
it
like
is to
keep
get,
it
no,
distance.
well, that's a different camping,
Yeah.
right? But most people here, as soon as they open up to reserve camp spots,
Uh-huh.
they're gone. You have to be up at midnight to book them,
Yeah.
6 months to a year out. I don't know if they changed it with COVID, it used to be a year. And if you weren't on there, and people get it in groups, they have a head person that goes and books a group of spots so that they can all be together. Oh yeah, no, it's big. So that's huge. If you like camping, but if you like isolation type camping, I bet there's people out there that would like to do that, that can't get the campsites, and they're only going to the campsites because it's close to activities for the kids.
Yeah.
But if you can find a place where people can go and kind of have a little bit of isolation, but still have fun, bless you, have fun with friends and kids and everything else, I'm telling you, maybe that's something that you go and you start talking to people that own land,
Yeah.
right? You start talking to people that own farms or whatever it is to incorporate camp. I mean, there's a whole level, that's one level that you could like be huge and grow business in. You got to think outside the box, you guys, right?
Yeah.
Find your passion and grow it, but you got to lead it. You can't just be a member in it, because a member in it, not everybody's going to know who you are, right?
Uh-huh.
You got to stand out. Find a way to make yourself stand out. You can co-something, co-lead, right? Whatever it is. I'm now officially the drink person for my church Bible or book club because I bring the best drinks.
Yeah. What do you bring?
Organic spicy margarita mix,
Oh,
really
snap.
good bubbly, rosé bubbly. I just bring whatever I like, and I
Okay.
have good taste.
Okay.
But now they're like, "What are you bringing?"
Okay.
So now I gotta keep thinking outside the box.
Uh-huh.
Time block. Reach your goal. Look back at your big why. Tell yourself, yes, I'm not gonna hope that it happens. I'm gonna plan that it's gonna happen. Does that make sense? It's changing your mindset, right?
Yeah.
We all hope we're gonna make $100,000, but if I don't plan for it, it ain't gonna happen, right? Measure your results. Tracking everything. You wanna know how many calls you made. You wanna know who you called. What was the marketing plans that led you to the contacts or led the contacts to you? How many appointments did I make? How many contracts have I written? How many deals have I closed? Where is my business coming from? Every single aspect. And guess what? Every single one of these answers are something you can check or enter in command. And then there's a whole section that shows you in a graph where your business is coming from. There's no, when I work with Alex and Peter, Alex had like so many different spreadsheets, and each year I was like, we really need to track that. So I created a new spreadsheet. And then the year goes and it's like, oh, I should add that to the spreadsheet, right? Like trying to figure it out and work our way to it. There are lots of systems out there that you can pay for that'll do that stuff for you. I think we had like 5 or 6 Excel spreadsheets tracking all the stuff, right? This command does it all for you in one spot, as long as you mark it or fill it out. And then it does all the numbers and everything for you. You don't even have to figure out formulas. That's the best part. Formulas in Excel are not my favorite thing. I used to take an Excel sheet, line it up the way I wanted it to look, and then I would send it to my husband and say, make it do that.
Wow.
And he would do it because he does Excel sheets all the time for Intel, like his project management and stuff in Intel, and with testing all software and everything. So he creates spreadsheets. He knows how all the formulas and stuff. So then he would send it back to me and I'd be like, no, I need this. But he always made it the way I wanted it. So that was good. Okay, so enter your stuff in. So then you also need to know, how much are you spending? You guys really gotta keep track of that because it's tax write-off, tax write-off, tax write-off, right? Trust me, as you make more money, you want tax write-offs. You also wanna know your return on investment, your ROI. So if I'm spending $5,000 a year on marketing,
am I making at least that or more back in a closing, right? If I'm spending $5,000 a year and I don't even have one closing, my rate of return is crap. Maybe I need to reevaluate what I'm doing or if that marketing is even working, right? So know your ROI, your conversion rates, and if you're meeting your goals. Tracking tools, we have that. I just told you that. See, look at this, spreadsheets. So brilliant, but Gary Keller said, let's put everything a realtor needs in one system so that you have it all right there. You don't have to pay $150 a month for this, $20 a month for that, $350 a year for that, right? Measure your results enables you to make evidence-based decisions. 52% of my customers were past customers. 4% is referral. 5.4% is a personal referral, right? That's not, this is an agent referral, and this is someone that knows me that said, hey, you should use Tanya. 16.3% is walk-in. If you get that, fantastic. We don't get that anymore. 3.4% is farming. 7.4% is internet. You could probably swap those two. Actually, probably put those two together and make a little itty bitty tiny one here. 0.2% walk-in. And then 11.3% open house. The beauty is these numbers don't matter, but having a system that tells you what it is and where it's coming from does. Now go do it. So I love this. The business planning Microsoft Excel workbook. Is that even in here? You guys don't need that. I mean, you could try it, but there's actually a business plan in here at the end. Okay. So we know, like, you can use this to try to like start it out and figure it, but Command does it for you. You can put it in Command, and then you can come back here and you can actually write it out and figure out what you want to do. There's a lead generation model, like how much am I going to spend on marketing stuff? Now, some of this you guys aren't going to know to start out with, right? You're going to keep your marketing simplified because we don't have income. We don't have income, we don't spend it, right? So, but remember, this class is also geared towards agents that are already making money and they want to make more, okay? But I felt it was very beneficial for you guys to have this class as well. Your model, knowing where you are, just pop through this, create your business plan. Okay, so it's all in here. Look at that, even has the anticipated salary. Tells you how much that should be as part of your income. How much should you pay someone to do something? Remember too, like what Jenny said was like, I know we're way over. Jenny, oh, do I have an appointment? Jenny said that the hardest thing, and it's the same thing for every agent that is at the point of ready to hire an assistant, that first hire is always the hardest. Can I really afford them? Like I'm making, I'm just throwing numbers out there. I sold 36 homes or 24 homes last year, and I am making $250,000 GCI, and it's funding my trips. It's paying for my kids' school. It's paying for all the marketing and everything that I'm adding to my business to grow my business, right? I really don't have any funds in there to pay for an employee, because an employee requires a lot more money than just a salary. You have to pay employee taxes, right? And you have to guarantee that you don't want to hire someone and have to fire them 2 months later because you don't have the money, right? So it's all budget planning and everything. But if you hire an assistant and that assistant takes 25% of your work away from you that you've been doing, that increases your ability now 25% to be able to talk to that many more people to increase your business. So by hiring someone, it actually propels you and helps you do more. Okay. So getting past that mindset and getting to that point is hard, but once they do it, every single person that does it the right way always is like, oh my God, I'm so glad I did that. Yeah. Every time. And even though it also propelled them to be able to do more business, they actually found they had more time for themselves.
So it pans out, it really works out. Nope, I'm good. Okay, are you guys good? We're almost done. So put it all together. You got your goals. All these sheets are great, you guys. That's a different 411. It's got your business goal, your personal goal. It's got a finance goal. You could actually do this if you have a partner or a spouse. You should do this with them. Sit down. The page BP9. It's got everything. What is our business goal? What is our financial goal? Your weekly to-dos, tracking your leads. Keep your eyes on the goal in front of your eyes. You have to stay focused. Oh, there it is again. You're a Ferrari. Are you ready to go 200 miles an hour? I don't know if I could drive 200 miles an hour. So, power of one. So, do we have it on here? No. One goal, 36 transactions in 12 months. One area of discipline, lead generation. To one habit, 3 hours of lead gen every day, every business day, every work day. Okay?
Technically, I started here March 1st, right? But can I say my 36-12-3 can start April 1st? Like right now, since I was like super busy.
And you don't even have your emails working?
Well, it'll get fixed by today. Today's the 1st. So then by April
You can-
1st,
you
2023,
can-
I'll have 36 transactions.
Oh, you're gonna have 36 transactions in 1 year? That's a great
That's
goal.
That's the goal right here. Power of one.
I know.
36-12-3.
This was set for agents who've already started. So at the beginning of this
Yeah.
whole series, I said it was okay if you didn't go to 36. Because this is geared towards people who've already been past Ignite, been past Bold,
Yeah.
they've already capped. So they've already got their sphere rolling,
What's
right?
the saying?
I say 12.
Shoot for the moon. land
Shoot,
for the
yeah.
stars,
And you
something
might
like
go
that.
right past it.
Yeah.
You can set your goal wherever you want your goal to be. Everybody's goal is different, but I don't want it too low and I don't want it too high. Because I don't want you to think, I'll get there, I'll get there, I'll get there, or I'm never gonna get it, I'm never gonna get it, I'm never gonna get it. You want it just at that point that's just like, I can almost reach it, right?
What's wrong with putting it somewhere that's like too high? You just
Because
keep
then
striving
you'll,
for it.
as the time goes, and as you get closer to the end goal, the date, and you're not there, you'll start to drop off on your activities because you're like, now I'm never gonna hit it.
Oh, nah, I won't lose hope. I'll
If
just
it's you, right? It's
Yeah.
also you, so you know who you are. If you're really good at setting a goal and knowing I need to set it high in order for me to achieve it, then do that. But if normal average is, if it's too low, it's always, I'll get to it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if it's too high and as it gets closer and it's still 36, they give up. Because now I'm never gonna hit that goal, so why even bother?
Yeah.
Don't do that, okay?
Needs to be something realistic.
You want me to stop
It has to
recording?
be a realistic, what?
You want me to stop recording this?
No, I'm still on
Oh.
fire.
Speaking facts.
Okay.
Right? This is, no, we're wrapping, we're overdue, but that's all right, we're used to it.
All right, I'm gonna have to step away for a sec. So just, that's why I was wanting to check.
Oh,
I need
Wait, I'm almost
everything.
done. 5 minutes.
I need all the papers. I need all the websites, the links. I'm trying to get started. You know?
yes, yes.
Do
So
it
set
now.
yourself at a really good goal, not one that you could just go like this and reach. One that you actually have to do something to get to it, but not too high. Right?
Realistically though, like I was making like 40K a year at Amazon,
Mhm.
and I'd like to make a lot more than that. you know?
Absolutely.
More than 40K. Like I said, I want to be able to buy a property. I want to be able to buy a couple new cars because we only have one car that we share right now.
Yeah,
And for both of me doing real estate, we're probably gonna need 2 cars.
Yeah,
you know?
we're
And
gonna be working together as a team,
yeah, that's
so
true.
it's gonna be a little bit different.
But we also want like a backyard for the dogs, because we don't have a
Yeah.
backyard, because we have like a little.
So you got a lot of goals,
Yeah.
but we also have to, we're new here, right?
Uh-huh.
We have to find our path, and we know it's gonna take a little bit to get to that start,
That's right.
right? So that's why but Jason, if you set your goal at 12 or 24,
Yeah.
if you set it at 12 and in 6 months from now, we're getting like at 10, we're gonna move it.
That's right.
We can always make it bigger.
And if it's 12.
That's fantastic. And if we can make it bigger, right? But if we're getting 6 months in, we set our goal at 36 and we have 2. And we only have 6 months left. And at 6 months, all we got was 2. It really sucks when we have to bring it back down,
Yeah.
right?
12.
Because then we feel defeated.
Yeah.
Then we feel like we weren't achieving our goals. We weren't doing what we needed to do. That's why we don't go too high to start, especially at the start. Now, after your first year, you go set that goal higher.
Yeah.
Okay? By all means, but you guys are all new here and you've got to find your people. We got to start building our face. We got to find our activities. We have more work to do being brand new here than someone who's lived here for a long time and maybe already has an in, right? Maybe they already have kids in school and they've been part of the PTA, right? I mean, it's a different.
Yeah.
Someone who's like that is different from people that just moved here, right? Someone that has been working in a big company and is already set and has lots of people and then jumps into real estate are going to have a head start over you than someone that just moved to a new area.
Yeah.
We got to work a little bit harder. Does that make sense?
So,
Yeah. But that doesn't mean we all can achieve the same goal. Right? All right.
It's crazy to think that, like 12 transactions.
$100,000.
It's like $100,000. And that's like
There you
almost
go.
3 times.
There-
what I made,
no. Lee Jen, what are you gonna do?
You guys are killing me.
What do you mean? What
Kill
do
me,
you do?
Smalls.
3 hours?
Yeah, thank you. 3 hours of LG. Now who's gonna take me to the OG? No, I'm just kidding. All right, 3 hours, block it, stick to it, do it. Do your 411.
That's right.
Go to the beginning and hit your big why. Figure out your 411. Thanks for joining my class. I got your guys' stuff.
If it's
And
possible,
I
I'll
think-
also like, oh, what is that over there?
What? Austin, you can stop recording.